Well, hello everybody. My name is Ivan Codina. I'm heading the regional office of La Liga in Singapore. I've been only 5 months in this role. So I thank you, my friend Salaudin, for doing a little bit of a selling of La Liga before. Today I'm going to focus more than talking about La Liga on how brands can work with football properties, not just clubs, but also leagues and players, right? We're talking about this little things in the society that can unify or split, like the entire country, little things that can make you cry and laugh at the same time, little things, that can make you experience the power of sports, either if you playing or you are just watching, right? So that's why we believe that it's very important, to be always considering how to work with sports properties. The beautiful game. I'm going to focus a little bit, obviously, given my background on football. Why football? We're talking about there is an audience, a global audience of more than 3.5 billion that follow football. Probably over 300 million that play actively football. So obviously we're talking about the game, the main game in the world, right? So today we're going to focus a little bit on football or soccer, however you want to call it. Once one of the greatest, Johan Cruyff, said that playing football is very simple, but playing simple football is the hardest thing there is, right? So when you want to engage with a football, pretty much any brand, that chooses to endorse or to sponsor a club or a football league or a player, it's pretty easy, but the challenge comes when how to choose the right partner, right? So this, in a way, is very similar. I'm gonna try to give some takeaways on how you choose, who is the right partner that you want to associate your brand with, right? So there is three main areas that you need to consider when you want to work with a club or a league. There is three letters: A, B, and C. A for associate, B for believe, and C for create. So I'm gonna go, more in detail one by one. So associate, for example, when we talk about football, there is much more. The game is not only starting the moment that the referee blows the whistle and the kickoff, right? So there is sometimes a month or weeks, is many days before the game. There is a lot of things happening. You may choose, to work with a brand thinking that, well, the performance on the field of play is brilliant, but there is many more things that you need to consider. Because anything that happens leading up to that kickoff, if you associate, your brand to a particular club, that would be associated also to your own brand. So you need to also think a lot for your customers, your consumers. So it's not just thinking on a relationship between your brand and the club or the endorsement. Okay, so you need to think very careful, who is, your audience and how you want to engage, your team, and then it will give you some hints on how you want to associate your brand or which is the right fit for you. These are some examples, if we take athletes, clubs, or leagues. For example, Tag Heuer, they are very clear in their message. When they want to sell watches, they're looking, for prestige. They're looking for durability. They're looking for, excellence, right? So here we have some examples. Obviously, they find this in these athletes. Nameless to say, well, Cristiano Ronaldo, Lewis Hamilton, or Sharapova, right? So if we talk more with clubs, for example, we have a good example on Oppo brand. 3-4 years ago, before they wanted to go out of China, they were thinking, what is the best platform for us, to try to get our brand, into other markets. So after they did the research and they see how, what are the main options out there, they thought that football is the key for them, right? But then how they choose, the club that they want to work with. In the message that they want to share with the consumers or the customers is that they are always in constant evolution, and they feel like the way that Barcelona, perform or the playing style, it was a right fit for them. So now you have it. 3 years, 4 years later, Oppo has become, a pretty known brand, globally. So even for them, when they try to penetrate into the Europe market, they have been able to utilize, the partnership with Barcelona. If we look at leagues, and please allow me, to use, La Liga as an example. We have another, a Chinese brand like Huawei. For them, it was very clear at some point they wanted to get into the Spanish market, and the way that they found, the best way to do it was like developing this application, but this application in which they wanted to include relevant and quality content for the Spanish, market that can help them to get, that, visibility and awareness on the market. So they've been, partnering with La Liga, and in this way they've been able not to just associate the brand to one club or one athlete, but with 20 or 42 clubs in this case of La Liga that cover the entire country. So another thing that we need to take in consideration is that not always is just, waiting for the brand itself, to ask, to share the message out there on the ethos or corporate, guidelines. There is also an opportunity, to associate your brand with sporting brands that they have very clear, brand identity. So for us in La Liga, what we have done, in the past 3 years since our president took over is to identify in which way we can engage, with a bigger audience. Like it was said right now, for us, we are no longer just a football league. We are an entertainment company, and then we sell entertainment. So in this way, we can actually reach a greater audience, right? So for us now, the new, brand statement is not football, it's La Liga. Basically, before it used to be the best together, and it was it was accurate. We have the best teams, we have the best players, but it was not inclusive of a great part of the audience that follow us. So we believe that by trying to reach this bigger audience, we will also have more opportunities to engage with other, brands. The B that stands for belief is it's very important that once you have decided in which a club or league you wanna be associate your brand, it's very hard that you believe exactly on how you're gonna be able to activate all the different assets that you get from this partnership. We have so many examples, but one of the greatest examples that I can think of in the past few years is how King Power in Thailand, they work, with Leicester City. Even before, Leicester City was able, to win the Premiership, King Power was already, from the obviously the owner is the principal investor, but they believe, in the assets and the opportunity that they have to engage with a club from the Premier League that eventually, were able to win the title. Again, like I said before, it's important, that you have, the brands, also, to send out this message that can engage with their own audience, but also, when you find the right fit, the right match between the right endorser and with the right message for the brand, then you have, both Adidas and Nike that have been doing a great job in this. You have nowadays is like a rivalry in sports. They need from each other, and then they push to each other. So, We have the Ronaldos or Messi or Federer and Nadal in the past. Well, now both with Nike. But it's important, like to see how you can associate this. Create. Now that everybody, is being, able to work, or that everybody sees, the value of working with sports. The main difference stands, on how you became more creative. The platform is out there. Sports is obviously gives you the right platform. You have, the local heroes or the global heroes, out there. But the main difference is made on how you create, how your creative team works with these teams. I'm going to give a couple of examples on good and bad, utilize of branding or sponsorship. In this case, we have, Tim Cahill, who recently scored, a very important goal in the World Cup qualifiers for Australia. He normally celebrates, his dancing in the corner flag and pretending that he's fighting the flag. And in that occasion, what he did, he was, just making the sign of a T. And a lot of the people, didn't realize during the game itself. But what happened is that he, a few weeks ago, a few weeks earlier, he signed an endorsement with a popular, a tourist, tour operator in Australia. And then he was just actually helping to promote the brand. And then, it ended up in a very bad press for the endorser. So that is really an example of how, you don't use, your entitlement, right? So another good idea, another example would be more like a Puma, what they did to promote the new line of deodorant. So they utilize, in this case, Antoine Griezmann, and he's very popular, to celebrate their goals, with a, I don't know how you call it, like a little bit like a scissor move, with his hand. So basically, he was utilized in a TV ad, just trying to be the right wing, and he utilized, his celebration just to see how he can, help, these guys, to get the women, that they like. So in his absence, then, is actually Puma deodorant what it makes it, make it successful. So it went viral, because he was seen, I don't know, doing a haircut or cooking or anything. So it was a right, utilization of a partnership. So just, to summarize, it's very important, like I said, anybody can choose, to go into football and to try to become an official partner or official endorser from an athlete. But before you go out there, you need to have a clear idea on how you want to associate your brand, the right belief on how you can, get your brand, to push, this partnership and utilize the assets that they get from this partnership, and then, get the right creative, idea, to activate this partnership. So thank you very much. That was about it. So if you have any comments or any questions, please let me know.